PBS sat down with a notorious terrorist named al-Julani. Al-Julani is the head of a terrorist group called Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or just HTS, in Syria. And HTS is a rebranding of al-Nusra, which is a rebranding of al-Qaeda. Yeah, he's a former al-Qaeda leader. That's who he is. And again, that's not like hyperbole or something. No, he's officially a former al-Qaeda leader. He has a bounty on his head of $10 million. So they sat down to do an interview with him. And I mean, just to show you how ridiculous this is, they dressed him up in a fucking suit, like to try and, you know, soften his image. Yeah, you've heard that before, right? Look at this. I mean, look how absurd this is. That's him in the PBS interview. Like, this fucking terrorist piece of shit, right? They put him in a suit and try to make him look civilized. Like, I mean, he's a glorified monkey. That's what it is. And so, you know, I want to show you a bit of this interview. The full one has not come out yet. PBS are going to publish it soon. But there's a 3-minute clip that they posted. So let's watch it. And then I have several points to say about this. And it's, I mean, this is just, wow. Wow.
You're recognized, you're designated as a terrorist by the United States, by the United Nations, by many governments. There's a lot of Americans who would say you have no business being a leader as a terrorist. What do you say to them?
يعني أول نحن لا نتصرف كحكام في المنطقة، نحن جزء من الثورة السورية بشكل كامل. يعني الثورة السورية ليست تختصر في شخص يعني، وإنما هي ثورة شعب بأكمله يعني. الأمر الآخر هذا تصنيف جائر، وهو تصنيف سياسي يعني، ليس له يعني وجه من الحق والمصداقية يعني. لأن نحن من خلال مسيرتنا في هذه الثورة خلال 10 سنوات لم نشكل أي تهديد على المجتمع الغربي أو المجتمع الأوروبي، لا تهديد أمني ولا تهديد اقتصادي ولا أي شيء. فبالتالي هذا التصنيف يعني يبدو أنه مسيس يعني. ونحن ندعو الدول التي قامت بمثل هكذا إجراءات أن تراجع سياساتها تجاه هذه الثورة.
You have in the past said that you were determined to fight the United States and its allies. Have you changed?
يعني نحن كنا ننتقد بعض السياسات الغربية في المنطقة، نعم. أما أن نشن حربا على الولايات المتحدة أو الأوروبيين من خلال سوريا فهذا الأمر ليس بصحيح. لم نقل أن نحن نريد أن نحارب، لم نقل هذا. ثم نحن نريد أن نناقش مسألة يعني أيضا، ما هو تعريف الإرهاب يعني؟ الإرهاب ما هو تعريفه يعني؟ اليوم كل دولة لديها لائحة للإرهاب. أي يعني شخصية أو جهة تدعي خصومتها مثلا، تعريف الإرهاب العملي هو قتل الأبرياء والأطفال والمساكين والنساء وما إلى ذلك، والاعتداء على أملاك الناس. وهذه الأفعال يقوم بها اليوم النظام المجرم، فهو الأولى بهذا التصنيف. إلى الآن هناك اعتراف دولي ببشار الأسد رغم أنه ضرب شعبه بالكيماوي عشرات المرات، بل يقال أكثر من 100 مرة، وهدم مدارس وقتل من الأطفال وقتل من النساء، ورمى بالبراميل المتفجرة فوق رؤوس الساكنين في القرى والمدن، وهدم حاضرات كبيرة مثل حمص وحلب، وهذه حاضرات تاريخية عمرها أكثر من 4000 إلى 5000 إلى 6000 سنة. فبالتالي إلى الآن هناك اعتراف دولي بشرعية هذا النظام كوجوده يعني. والرسالة الجوهرية المعادلة بسيطة جدا في يعني التي نريد أن نوصلها أو يفهمها الناس، هو أن الشعب أراد أن يغير حاكم وأن يغير نظام حكم، وأراد هذا الحاكم ونظام الحكم هذا أراد أن يغير الشعب بأكمله. فتغيير الحاكم أهون بكثير من أن نغير شعب بأكمله يعني.
Will you say here now then very clearly that you as a former al-Qaeda leader will not support what you call external jihad, that you will not support any attacks against the United States?
يعني أعيد وأكرر، حقبة يعني كان دخولنا مع القاعدة في السابق هذه حقبة وانتهت يعني. وحتى في ذاك الوقت عندما كنا نحن مع القاعدة كنا نرفض أن يقام عمل خارجي وليس من سياستنا على الإطلاق أن نقوم بعمل خارجي. هذا شيء لم يكن في حساباتنا على الإطلاق ولم نكن نفعله على الإطلاق يعني.
Right. So, I mean, wow. Where do we begin with this verbal diarrhea? I mean, it's interesting how he suddenly cares about cities that are 5,000 years old after they basically helped destroy them. How benevolent. This guy, you need to understand why this is so important. What HTS is. Okay, so I've told you many times about Idlib, right? Let's take a look at Idlib at the map. All right. So this is Syria, right? We got Syria over here. One of the provinces in Syria is Idlib. Okay. This is Idlib. And you also have a city in Idlib called Idlib. All right. So it's both a city and a province. Now, this entire province, not just the city, the entire province, right, is controlled mainly by HTS. By this motherfucker, this terrorist. There's about 3 million people in Idlib right now. Okay. So, I mean, it's not just HTS, of course, because you also have other, look, this is from France 24. Okay. This is from just a few days ago. This is from 8th of March. Okay. Look, they tell you about the other terrorist groups in Idlib. It's not just HTS, but they say Hayat Tahrir al-Sham controls the agricultural area. All right, and its towns through its influence over the so-called Salvation Government. Despite HTS claiming it has renounced all ties with al-Qaeda, the United Nations and European Union consider the group to be terrorists. I love how they put it in quotes as if it's not true. So they're saying that, you also have other Turkish-backed groups. So, we've looked at, for example, last week when Russia was bombing the oil trade, that was the Syrian National Army. It's not the Syrian Army. The Syrian Army, the official one, the Syrian Army, is called the Syrian Arab Army, right? That's the armed forces of the Syrian Arab Republic. The Syrian National Army, that's a terrorist group created by Turkey, backed by Turkey. Just like the Free Syrian Army, that's another one backed by Turkey, right? So you have HTS, the FSA, you have the SNA, all these various fucking jihadist groups. That's why I call them 50 flavors of jihad, right? It's the same shit. 50 flavors of jihad occupying Idlib. This is like the last stronghold that they have, right? I mean, if you look at the relative map, relatively as it stands, right? Again, watch the color coding, like how everything that's belongs to the government is in red. Anyway, so, most of the country has been taken back. It's under the government control. Everything in yellow, okay? Again, I told you, no map is worth anything without a legend. So, what's in yellow? This is controlled by the Kurdish-led SDF and, by extension, the Americans. They're occupying all the oil fields here and here. And then, as we talked about, Idlib and other stretches of northern Syria, northwestern Syria, this is controlled by, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, as we just mentioned, and other jihadist groups. And Turkey, of course, right? Turkey actually has its army in here, not just backing them financially and stuff, but it's actually there. And, you can see in the France 24 article, they tell you that, the region is run by HTS and it's 10,000 mostly Syrian fighters. According to a UN report, they control the importation and distribution of gasoline and diesel, pocketing about $1 million a month in trading fuel and energy. The group is also reported to control distribution of humanitarian aid, quote, and confiscates portions of these goods to reinforce HTS patronage networks. So do you understand now why I'm so pissed off when Blinken goes to the UN Security Council, and not just him, right? But these Western countries, they talk about why won't Russia and Syria reopen the border crossings so that we can get humanitarian aid? Because it's going to fucking Al-Qaeda, you piece of shit. They fucking know this. Al-Qaeda is controlling HTS. Let's call it for what it is. It's Al-Qaeda. They're controlling the not just the oil with this pirate trade, right? Which Turkey's helping them with. They're also controlling humanitarian aid. Who on earth would give humanitarian aid and put it in the hands of HTS? They're not even fucking giving it to the people. That's not the government of Syria. Like, do you see this fucking mental gymnastics? Do you think most people know this shit? Do you think the mainstream media is going to tell you this shit? Do you see how infuriating this is? For the last 10 years, the better part of the last 10 years, we have to sit here and listen to mainstream media rebrand fucking Al-Qaeda Al-Qaeda and sell them as moderate rebels, and then claim that, oh, Russia and Syria are not letting humanitarian aid through. Letting it through to who? HTS? Fucking terrorists? Yeah, no shit. No shit. Who would give humanitarian aid to terrorists so that they can you run a fucking patronage network? Have you lost your goddamn minds? You're not going to come here and turn Syria into a fucking Al-Qaeda whorehouse. Ya Awladin al-Sharmuta. What is this? We got to sit here and watch them rebrand a goddamn Al-Qaeda leader in a fucking suit like some glorified monkey and accept this as the new face of the Syrian revolution? That's not a fucking revolution. I cannot believe this shit. And this is what most Westerners don't understand, right? They have no clue about this. This isn't a one-off thing. This has been going on for the last decade. They've been taking these jihadists and these offshoots of Al-Qaeda and rebranding them as revolutionaries, moderate rebels. And they're telling you that these people are going to bring democracy to Syria. Man, you'll be lucky if a woman can leave her fucking house without her husband under these people. Under these people who would chop my fucking head off just for being Christian, which I know my detractors would love to see. You can't reason with HTS. You can't reason with Al-Qaeda, right? I don't care how many times you call them moderate rebels. And these pieces of shit in the mainstream media, they're trying to market these people and soften their image and try to pass them off as some kind of civilized statesman. You are not coming into Syria and turning this into some Wahhabi shithole or some fucking whorehouse like Saudi Arabia, okay? They're bombing, they're sanctioning, they're occupying Syria in the name of defeating Daesh, and they even have a Twitter account for their illegal occupation, and then they turn around and prop up another flavor of jihad at the same time. Like, they're not even hiding it. They're openly telling you this terrorist piece of shit who chops off little boys' heads is an asset to the United States. That's what it is, man. Al-Qaeda is created by America. It's a creation of the United States. The West funds these groups in order to overthrow governments they don't like and put puppets in their place. That's what it's all about. I mean, this is unbelievable, right? And if you look at this very report from PBS, okay, look at what it says, man. James Jeffrey, okay, James Jeffrey, who served as U.S. ambassador under both Republican and Democrat administrations, and most recently as special representative for Syria engagement and special envoy to the global coalition to defeat ISIS, during the Trump administration told Smith that al-Julani's organization was an asset to America's strategy in Idlib. Okay, so again, this guy is a former U.S. ambassador. He's telling you that this terrorist piece of shit over here is an asset. He's an asset to the United States. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? This is frankly unbelievable. Look what he says. They are the least bad option of the various options on Idlib. And Idlib is one of the most important places in Syria, which is one of the most important places right now in the Middle East. Really, so I mean, they're just openly telling you, like, yeah, we prefer Al-Qaeda to Bashar al-Assad. Wow. Like I cannot even. This sounds so absurd. I think most people do not even, it goes over their heads. They just cannot grasp how fucking nuts this is. You have a former U.S. ambassador telling you that they prefer Al-Qaeda and that Al-Qaeda is an asset to the United States. Is this surprising? I mean, we're talking about the United States, which helped fund the Mujahideen, right? Who by extension became Al-Qaeda to fight the Soviets originally. They created these motherfuckers. They created this disease. And you want to come here and tell me that, they're trying to bring democracy and a peaceful transition of power to Syria? What is this, man? There's nothing peaceful about this. There's nothing democratic about this. This is not a revolution. This is a CIA proxy. These are fucking head choppers, man. These are fucking head choppers. Look at him. You know what's hilarious? I think this is absolutely hilarious. There's an official, look, this is the official Arabic language account of the US DOS Rewards for Justice program. And they posted like, wow, you look really good in your new suit. Jolani, but that doesn't change anything, and there's still a $10 million reward out for you. So if you have any tips, just reach us with this number. So again, I mean, it's absurd. On one hand, they're telling you that they're fighting ISIS and they have a reward out on this guy, and then at the same time, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth and saying that, oh, he's a good option in Idlib, and he's a valuable asset. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, I cannot reason with these motherfuckers. I really cannot reason with these motherfuckers. These people, they are the scum of the earth, right? James Jeffrey, Robert Ford, they're the scum of the earth. They are vermin. They come into our country, they try to stir up religious hatred, racial hatred, sectarian violence. They try to prop up groups like Al-Qaeda. They try to prop up this piece of fucking shit, Jolani. You know what this guy did? He chopped off a 19-year-old's head for criticizing him. You think I'm making that shit up? This happened. Look. This guy's head was chopped off. Muhammad Tanu, 19 years old. They chopped off his fucking head. They decapitated him in Idlib because he criticized Jolani. Don't you remember how the Syrian revolution started? Wasn't that because supposedly, the government was cracking down on protesters and a boy died? Well, here a boy died. Is there going to be a 10-year NATO bombing campaign, a regime change thing going on in Idlib? Of course not, right? You know why? Because the West is supporting the scum. The West is supporting scum like Jolani. They're supporting scum like Al-Qaeda, right? They created these groups in the Cold War. They're using them to this day to push for regime change. They just openly come out and say, yeah, the United States considers HTS, which is fucking Al-Qaeda, as an asset. The same people who did 9/11, the same people who are supposedly the reason that an entire war on terror was started, that is still not ended, right? Unbelievable. They just have no fucking shame. And I don't, I understand PBS doing an interview because it's journalism, but at the same time, like, they're dressing this guy up in a suit like a glorified fucking monkey, and trying to pass him off and rebrand him and market him as some kind of civilized statesman. He's a fucking terrorist. There's a $10 million bounty on his head. He was, they say that, oh, we had to go and kill Soleimani because he was targeting American soldiers. Motherfucker, this guy was too. You don't seem to have a problem with him. Could it be because he's pushing your agenda in Syria? Oh, that's why. Soleimani was going against U.S. interests in Syria and the Middle East. This motherfucker is going with U.S. interests. He's implementing Turkish and U.S. interests in the Middle East. That's why. God damn it, man. God damn it. But like, how can you reason with this? Oh, God. How can you reason with these people? How can you reason? And then we have to come here and listen to this shit from the mainstream media day in and day out about how, there's a revolution in Syria. This is the revolution. It's Al-Qaeda. There is no revolution or uprising in Syria. This is your choice, right? You can have a sectarian government, run by these nut job jihadists that will chop your head off for being Christian. People that want to, I'm telling you, man, this guy has openly advocated for implementing Sharia law, for turning it into an Islamic state, right? That's what he wants. Or you can have a multi-ethnic, multi-religious, diverse Syria the way it was. That's the choice here. What is any rational fucking person going to pick? Definitely not Al-Qaeda. No, thank you. You can keep Al-Qaeda. You can take Al-Qaeda and stuff it up your fucking asshole, Uncle Sam. I mean, the stones on these people, right? The stones on these people. I'm so disgusted by this. And it's like this receives no attention. That a former U.S. ambassador is like openly saying, yeah, this guy's an asset. Like, no one cares. Just Google it. There's no articles about this. There's nothing. Nothing. There's just the PBS article. That's it. Like, this is a scandal. Could you imagine if Bashar al-Assad was saying that, yeah, we consider Al-Qaeda to be an asset, which is what they accuse Saddam of, right? Again, Saddam also running a secular Ba'athist government, which is like diametrically opposed to ISIS, to Al-Qaeda, their arch enemies. And then they were accusing him of that nonetheless, and people just bought it. Like, yeah, look, he's harboring terrorists, even though they have beef. They have nothing to do with each other. They went to war with Iraq because of that, right? Because of two reasons. They said he has weapons of mass destruction and he's working with Al-Qaeda. Both of them bullshit. They destroyed Iraq because of that lie. But it's totally fine for the United States to literally, effectively, in actuality, work with al-Qaeda. I mean, this is, you can't make this shit up, man. You can't make this up.